Connor used to reside in a small town near a lake. Each year on the night before Halloween, Connor and his friends, Corey and Ryan, would place each pumpkin in the lake. On Halloween, they would travel to the other side of the lake to see if their pumpkins had arrived. In a cold October night, Connor had gathered his friends at the lake. They each carefully set their pumpkins in the dark water. The boys knew that they should head home. There were really had been kidnapping after all. Connor and Ryan started to walk back, but something had caught Corey's eye. He informed of the others that he thought as something grew behind a tree that was only a handful of yards away. Tree lies in front of the thick forest, letting anything that used to lurk behind it hastily escape view. Early afternoon, Connor and his friends were at the lake, eager to start the long trek to the other side. There had been a brief downpour in the previous nights, hence, the ordinary bare dirt path had shifted into a damp mud. As the boys were walking, Ryan pointed out what looked to be light footsteps traveling down the trail. However, Connor and Corey didn't think much of it. As they continued down the path, they spotted the lake. The boys ran towards it in anticipation. When they stepped foot on the small patch of grass that borders the lake, Connor noticed something. His pumpkin, an average-sized pumpkin with a stem that curled and ended at a point, rested on the grass. Ryan's pumpkin was on the shore about a yard away. Corey's pumpkin, however, was nowhere to be found. When Connor was at his house, he starts to carve the pumpkin. However, something was wrong. The pumpkin had a very small slip near the top, and that's when Connor finished carving the top of the pumpkin. He then noticed a small bag inside, and the bag contains a note that read, "Have a jolly Halloween." Connor was visibly perplexed by the note. Why did someone put this in my pumpkin? Connor thought out loud. Connor decided out loud that it might have been there before, and even brought the pumpkin. The slit was hardly visible, so he could have overlooked it. That night, Connor and his friends were ecstatic to go trick-or-treating. They walked around their neighborhood for about an hour before coming to a halt at a certain house. Corey stopped at the others and pointed out that there was where the pumpkin he had released into the water the previous night. Connor and Ryan both informed him that the pumpkin just looks similar, and it's in fact not in his. 1 hour later, Connor and his friends were at his house comparing how much candy they had each received. Connor was going through his candy when he felt a small piece of paper. The paper read, "I hope you had a jolly Halloween." Connor gasped in shock as he quickly informed his friends about the note he had found earlier in the day and asked them if they had a similar note among their candy. Ryan and Corey carefully searched through their candy to no avail. Now Connor was scared. He started to question everything in the past couple days. Ryan informed him that it must be a coincidence, and maybe they were all just overthinking it. Connor liked the idea and he put his candy away, and he said goodbye to his friends. The next day, Connor had no school, but his parents had to work, so he was alone. After a while, he got hungry, so he reached into the jar that housed his candy. He felt a strange object, so he pulled it out. In his hands were the square candy with the red wrapper sealing it shut. One side of the wrapper was slightly transparent. Connor unwrapped the candy only to find a box. The box had a small camera lens on the side, and the top read, "Soon you won't be jolly." Connor stumbled backwards and ran outside in a panic. Connor's backyard was right next to a dense forest, so he tried to flee, but I rushed to him and grasped him. The boy struggling stopped after some time, and I was easily able to drag him into the forest. He won't be jolly for a long time.